Hey, what's up? I bought this lawn sweeper by Ohio Steel, and I got a really good price for it. I think that they charged me the wrong amount because the listing was updated by $200. So it's huge. It's 50 inches long, and it's super durable. And I hear it's kind of hard to assemble, so I thought I'd assemble it a bit with some footage in between. So the first thing I note is the hardware packs are cool. They get it all labeled by step, and they have it heat shrunk onto it so you can easily find your fasteners. And so far the install instructions seem pretty basic, but there's a lot of comments about the hopper being difficult to assemble, so we'll see. So basically I'm on step one. I'm just putting these pipes on here. They got these washers that are bent to curve into the tubing to make it a nice fit. So that's pretty cool. I put those on, and we'll go ahead and tighten that up, and then I'll show you the next step in a minute here. Okay, I got those tightened up. While I was working on it, I happened to notice that the finish is less than stellar in the powder coating. They didn't really properly sand their welds down, if it is even welded. It might not even be welded. It's probably, I forget what they call that. That tacking, where it clamps in from both sides to tack it. I think that's what it is. So it's not very smooth on that, but that's okay. The powder coating otherwise looks reasonable. And I will also say that the gauge of the steel is, I would say this is probably 14 gauge, which is nicer than the trailer that I bought that they made, which I believe was 16 gauge, and it was also had very sharp edges, where this is nice and everything's rounded and smooth and laser cut and not razor sharp, so that's good. And the posts themselves are also powder coated, and I think that they probably had used a CNC bender to make it. The wheels are also non-pneumatic tires. Feels like they got a really heavy duty, I would have to guess it's a tapered roller bearing in there. Kind of weird that they have these injection molding holes in here, but it's not going to hurt anything. The little hubcap is plastic. A little scuff on this thing, not a big deal. And I don't know, so far it looks pretty good. The finish was, as I said, not amazing, but I'm not gonna worry about that a whole lot. If we would have made it, it wouldn't be like that, I'll tell you that much, but that's alright. So okay, I'll get ready to move on to the next step here, which is to put this handle on, which looks pretty straightforward. So I gotta find the handle in the box there, and then find fasteners 24 and 22, which is just labeled onto this step 2 here, I believe. So pretty straightforward. These must be for step 4, this whole L area. I don't want to cut all the plastic off to see the lines, because then it'll get all mixed up. So okay, I'm going to move on and put the handle on now. Also, I'd like to briefly note that the nuts do have nylock on them, and they might be powder coated. I didn't think they had zinc plating, but I'm not entirely sure. I think it's powder coating. Alright, so the next step now, after this guy was put on, is to put these bars on. And one observation I have is, you look at the box, there's a lot of parts that look pretty similar in here. There's no label on them. They're packaged nicely. They got zip ties and bags and stuff. And anyhow, I believe it's these. And one thing I noticed is they do have these pop-out buttons to attach them to the body here, and that would make it very simple to remove in order to store the machine, so that's pretty great. So I'll just go ahead and pop those on and move on to the next step here. Alright, next step is to put bolts on these guys. It says you gotta put the 2 outer ones in, but not the third one. It's just the third one's gonna have something to do with this, so that's pretty straightforward. Again, they got the curved washers on it for a nice fit. So yeah, it's pretty nice, so I'll go ahead and get that done. Okay, next step is to add this adjustment bar here. Oh yeah, we're not supposed to tighten it up yet. Even after this step, you don't want to tighten it up yet. So I just want to feed this bar in here with the side with one hole in here, and the other pins will be sticking out, which I assume will attach onto one of these 2 hitches here. Yeah, so on top of that, I also need to attach, put that there, and we're going to put this little clevis pin to hold it in there so that it stays put. We're going to leave this loose still because the next step involves a whole bunch of other brackets. So I'm going to take a couple moments and evaluate this to see what I got to do. Yeah, so the next step here is going to involve this whole pack of hardware along with just 2 bolts, and basically I'm just going to feed the brackets above and below here with the bolts in between these bolts to sandwich it together. And it wants you to tighten these first after that, and then the other bolts. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, so before I tighten it up, I did want to just show real quick that you gotta make sure you get the 2 holes on the back. Each of these brackets has 2 holes. There's a flat one, and there's a Z kind of shaped one. And the Z ones, you want them to be high and low so that you have different options for where to mount it on your tractor. So I go ahead and put those in, feed the bolts in. They don't have washers for these. I guess we don't need them. I'm not so sure. I like the fact that there's no main flat bracket that covers the whole thing to kind of sandwich it all together, but I'm sure it'll be alright. So I'll go ahead and tighten it up now. Okay, now that I got it bolted together, I no longer have a complaint about it. It seems pretty rigid, and these are pretty thick brackets. This has got to be probably 1/4 inch. It's bigger than 7 gauge anyhow, but just 3/16. So yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. They're a little bit uneven. I'm not too worried about it. So we'll go ahead and look at the next step here, which wants you to put the bottom frame tubes to center frame tubes and snap them into position. So it's gonna be, let's see, we got these guys with the flats on them. There's 2 of those. A little bit of a chore to get them out. So yeah, we got those 2 with the flat, and then we've got zip ties in it, making this easy. And this guy, he's like a big C, curved down both ends. So we're just gonna put the snaps on. And these guys, we're just gonna snap them into that C. And pretty straightforward. I'll get back to you. Okay, before I move on, I want to point out that you have to be careful about which of these parts you're grabbing. These, there's two different ones. One of them has these brackets welded to it. There's two pieces like that, and then there's two that don't. For step 7, you need the ones that don't. In addition, if you look at this part, there's a little hole shown here. There's two of these. Oh, that's the wrong hole. We gotta find there's holes on the ends here. So there's two of these C-bars. One of them has holes and one of them doesn't. So we just need to grab the ones without the welded parts and the point with the extra holes on it for this step and just slap them together. There is one other observation. So there's actually a hole on one side, and on the other side there's a big dimple. So you can put them on backwards, so you just want to make sure that sitting in this position with them going upwards like this, the buttons are facing up for now on both sides. Otherwise it'll be upside down. Alright, the next step is to deal with the hopper, this is what people are saying is difficult. Unroll and flatten it. Slide hopper stop bar into pocket of hopper bag as shown. Seems pretty straightforward. Bottom frame assembly. Well, I'll do the first part first. I'll get back to that. Okay, so I got it kind of unrolled. It's got some memory to it, but I'll get it. So the pocket, I'm assuming, is this thing in the mesh. That was pretty straightforward, so I'll get that in and try to figure out the next step here. Alright, so now they want us to stick the bar that we assembled with the buttons into the hopper. And let's see. Oh, yeah, it is it's a little confusing here. Let's see. Place it into the bag. Put the pins in through it. Oh, I think I get it. We're attaching this to that bar we just put in. You gotta make sure the snaps are sitting up. I'll get that done here. Okay, I think I might have gotten it correct here. So you gotta have the bar inside, and make sure the buttons are upright. The little silver looking button goes up, and you feed the bar back, and then you fit the bar that we fed through the loop on the mesh in that pocket, and you attach it with the clevis pin, cotter pin thing. We do that, and I think that's right. And so what's next? Now we gotta get the top tube frame in. So that's the other pieces we had before. So we got a big C, and then we need to have it with the, oh, it did have buttons. It did have holes, it's just they were only on one side. Okay, so we take the other bars and we're going to feed it with the buttons down, it says. So here's the button. We're going to pop those both in like this next. So go ahead and get that. Alright, so the next step is going to be we're going to take a new part we just assembled, and they have the flats on them. And we are going to install it in the hopper so that this feeds it up. And then we're going to attach these frames together and line up the holes. And then we're going to use another cotter pin, clevis pin thing on step 10. So we're going to use those to assemble those brackets together now. Yeah, so I'm still trying to screw with this thing, and I believe that the problem, because it doesn't work, so you can't move these out far enough. So I think the problem is this bar. There's another pocket. It doesn't go in this pocket. There's a pocket here on the black part. I think it goes in there. I think that's the trick here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this thing back apart. Yeah, don't be fooled by this mesh pocket. There's a pocket in the non-mesh too. You know, get you every time, guys. Alright, let's see what we get. Yeah, I think that was it. You gotta feed it through this rivet in the plastic. Then through the bar. The hole on the bar lines up with the hole in the plastic, and then through the frame. Do that on both sides. Boy, that was really misleading. Let's see if I could do it with one hand here. Hang on. See that? We feed it through there, and then we put this guy through the hole in the pin so it stays in place. Like this. There we go. Now it makes a little more sense, I think. Alright, so now I'll put the other one back in. And let's see. So this part we're going to have, so the net will be up then. And the only reason I noticed it was because this little hole on here. There's a hole in the mesh. It's the only reason I noticed it, because there's pockets on both sides, so they should have specified it, but whatever. I got it solved now. So I gotta not only connect the frame, so I gotta connect the two frames, and then I gotta feed this rod through all of it, and put one of these cotter pins in a washer on both sides to hold that pin in place, that rod. And then I think that's going to be the end of the hopper installation. So we'll see how it goes when I'm done here. Alright, so yeah, I got that was right. And it was still kind of hard, but there's this little Velcro pocket that kind of helps you hold it to this bar when you're doing it. That being the bar with the loaded brackets. So the next trick is we gotta feed this rod through the outer frame. We have to add these little pipes, and there's two sides. One side of it has no cap and one of them has a cap, so it looks like the no cap goes up. So we're gonna feed it through this, through the pipe then through the original mesh pocket, all the way through the second pipe, then through the frame on this side, and then we're going to put more of those clevis pins on it. These guys. Oh no, I already got them in my pocket. They're here. My bad, because there's washers you need too. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Alright, so I got that all fed through. And they have it all nice and poofed out, but it doesn't stay like that at this stage. But it will when we're done with this part. So we get this final rod. It's part of the hopper. Okay, and there's the side that has a wing nut, or a thumb screw. And we're going to take the thumb screw off. We're going to insert the tube through the top. And into the hole on the bottom. Remember that hole that was in the middle? That's what that's for. So we're gonna slide it in front of the frame. Feed it down, pop this peg into the bottom. And then we're gonna lift the tubing frame up so it rests on top of this. And then we're going to feed the thumb screw and thread it into this threaded hole on this tube. So yeah, that makes sense. We'll do that real quick. Yeah, so it was a little hard to get. It required a lot of tension, but it is a tensioning pole, so I guess it's expected. But yeah, I did it. Those divots in the bottom of the pole made it so it sits nice and good. I had to kind of wrestle it on there, but it's secured in the bottom. I have it captured in the top. I'm going to tighten this up, and that was quite an experience putting this hopper together. But it's done now. It wasn't that bad. I wouldn't say it was fun. No, it was actually pretty bad. They could have did a better job explaining that, but once I figured out that there was a second pocket, it all fell into place. If they would have pointed this hole out more clearly, it would have helped too. But whatever, it's alright. So what's next here? Now we just want to install the connecting tubes onto the hitch mount tubes. So that's going to be so they're going to fit onto here, here, and here. I believe they're saying it will stick this in there. Is that right? I don't know if that's right or not. It's got to be something like that. Let's see. No, see? There's no, the cap's on this side. Let's go back and look at that. And I guess that is a cap. I'll look at that first one. See? There's a little white there. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to zoom in here. Let me try again. See a little white in the middle of that black? There, now it's there. To me, that looks like that's the hole. There's one on this one too, but no, that's the cap. It's gotta go the other way. It's gotta go the other way. And then this will fit over this, and then the pin goes through it. ×2. The final 2 fasteners, and this is for attaching to the tractor, of course. So you got these two with those 2 pins. Flip those bad guys upside down so that the hole fits there. Slap it together, and there's also the dump rope, which I'll tie on as well. So you can put you can pull this string to dump it, so you don't have to get off to dump it. That's what that's for. And basically, that should be the end of it. Yeah, should be the end of it. Let's see. It's got storing. Yeah, all that good stuff. All right, so let me finish this thing up. I hope this thing's worth it. All right, so I got the thing on there. It wasn't one with the clevis pin. This is one of those ball spring ones. So just gotta line these holes up. We just feed this bad guy in there all the way through. It doesn't feel like it's gonna hold very well, but we'll give it a shot. I might want to get the other kind for that, because it doesn't. It's pretty easy to pull out of there, but maybe it'll work. Same thing on this side. Boom. She's ready for use. And I'll tell you right now, I don't like this. This should be under this bar. If this thing's flapping stuff, I could see stuff hitting the underside and not make it in the hopper. I'm sure most of it will, but it seems like it should have been made differently. But these are nice brushes. They're thick, they're thicker, they're nylons, they're nice and rigid. They look nice, they look durable. It spins pretty good. You can adjust the height, pulling this pin, and you can move it in or out on the holes to be higher or lower. I think you can also move it to this lower one if you want. And then you attach it to your tractor. Any of these 3 or more if you have them, they'll hold it together. They include one of these with the little clevis pin, but I have this thing here. It's magnetic. I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull it out because I'm pushing down on it right now. I got my thing on a lift, but this is magnetic. Holds it in place. I probably dented it. See, I got my thing all up in the air. Just trying to make some more room to store stuff. No, not really. I was just cleaning out the blades and all that good stuff. So I will give it a shot tomorrow. It's a little getting dark out. I'm not gonna do it today. I'll try it tomorrow. And I think I understand why they did it the way they did it. So you can simply pull these out. This detaches from that. It looks durable. Oh, okay, it does swing under there better. It's just from how it was sitting. My mistake. My mistake. I think it's gonna be great. Thing's kind of heavy. I'm sure it gets heavy when it's filled with wet stuff. I can't wait to try it out though. I used to have a much smaller one by Agrifab. I love that thing. Gave it to my little brother. I was trying to get it back, but I saw this one, and I looked it up online, and it looked like a good unit. A lot of people said it was good. A lot of people said that hopper's tricky. I see what they're saying. Maybe someone will not make the same mistake I did and look at the video. So again, the big flaw for installation was there's two pockets. You gotta put the first bar in the black solid pocket, not the mesh pocket. And then the second one was, and it's not too bad to fix, this pole that attaches to this. You had to put the cap up, despite the book appearing to be down. It's not. But seriously, you look at this. See if I can get it again. Come on. Focus, focus. Maybe I'll superimpose a picture over it. Yeah, I can't get it. I'll put a picture up. Since you don't see the other end of it, there's a little white there. You tell me that doesn't look like that's the open end. Flipping to the repair parts page, you would have probably seen it. But like a normal person who reads instructions in order, it wasn't gonna work. That one doesn't see it. Maybe I'm just blind. I think that's it. I think I need new glasses. It looks pretty obvious now. If I would have seen the whole pole, it would have been obvious to me. Somehow I thought it was the other piece. So anyhow, whatever. All you gotta do is tie this rope on here, hitch it up, and go for it. Thanks a lot, guys.